In the vast grasslands of Central Asia, where icy winds sweep the open steppes and horses thunder across endless plains, a storm was brewing in the 12th century. A storm that would change the course of history. That storm had a name: Genghis Khan. The Mongols were nomadic tribes, warriors of the steppe, living in yurts and surviving through herding, hunting, and intertribal warfare. For centuries they were scattered, divided by clan rivalries and blood feuds. But everything changed in 1162 when a child named Temujin was born into the Borjigin clan. He came into this world clutching a blood clot in his tiny fist, a sign, they said, that he was destined to be a great warrior. His early life was brutal. His father was poisoned by enemies, his family cast out and left to starve. From these harsh beginnings, Temujin grew into a cunning leader. Through alliances, betrayals, and sheer force, he united the warring Mongol tribes. In 1206, Temujin was declared Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. The Mongol Empire was born, and it was hungry. Genghis Khan, fierce warrior. Genghis Khan was more than a warrior. He was a visionary. He reformed the Mongol military, building a disciplined, mobile force based on merit, not birthright. His army was divided into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, a structure that allowed swift communication and brutal efficiency. He promoted religious tolerance but demanded absolute loyalty. He respected knowledge and science, yet his conquests brought death on a massive scale. The Mongols, under his rule, used psychological warfare, espionage, and terror as weapons. Cities that resisted were wiped out. Populations were massacred or enslaved. Those who submitted often found peace. But the message was clear: resist and be destroyed. The Mongol conquests. From the Great Wall of China to the Caspian Sea, the Mongols swept across continents like wildfire. They conquered the Jin dynasty in northern China, laid waste to Central Asia, and crushed the mighty Khwarezmian Empire after the execution of Mongol diplomats. Cities like Samarkand and Bukhara were razed. In Persia, entire regions were depopulated. Europe was next. By the mid-13th century, Mongol armies reached Hungary and Poland, defeating knights and kings alike. The Mongol war machine seemed unstoppable. They used advanced siege technology, catapults, battering rams, and even Chinese engineers to breach fortified cities. Cities that resisted were often destroyed, their population slaughtered or enslaved as a warning to others. But conquest was only half the story. Once a region was subdued, the Mongols established a surprisingly efficient system of rule. They allowed local leaders to remain in power if they pledged loyalty and paid tribute. But then, something changed. In the Middle East and Anatolia, the Mongols met fierce resistance. Here, the descendants of Turkic tribes, many of whom had embraced Islam, stood in their path. The Muslim-Turkic resistance, a wall of faith and fire. In 1258, the Mongols under Hulagu Khan devastated Baghdad. The Abbasid Caliphate was destroyed. The House of Wisdom burned. Thousands perished. The heart of Islamic civilization was ripped out. Next, they turned their eyes toward Egypt, the last bastion of organized Muslim power. They sent envoys to the Mamluk Sultan Qutuz demanding surrender. In 1260, A pivotal moment came at the Battle of Ain Jalut in modern-day Palestine. The Mongols, led by Kitbuka, faced the Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt. Composed largely of Turkic and Circassian warriors, the Mamluks, under Sultan Qutuz and General Baybars, used clever tactics, feigned retreats, ambushes, and terrain advantage. For the first time, a Mongol army was decisively defeated in open battle. The myth of Mongol invincibility was shattered. In Anatolia, Turkish principalities and later the Ottoman Empire would rise to push back and eventually absorb the remnants of Mongol influence in the region. The victory at Ain Jalut echoed across the Islamic world. It was more than just a battle. It was the moment the tide turned, a signal to all peoples. The Mongols can be defeated. And it was the Turk-Muslim warriors, once enslaved, now kings, who led that resistance. Their courage saved Egypt. Their faith defended Mecca and Medina. Their stand preserved a civilization. The Mongol Empire would fracture, but the legacy of the Mamluks, of Baybars, of Qutuz endures. In every mosque standing proud, in every page of Islamic scholarship preserved, and in every heart that knows, sometimes the oppressed rise up and become the protectors of the world. From humble beginnings on the Mongolian plains to the gates of Europe and the sands of Arabia, the Mongol story is one of conquest and consequence. And in the clash between sword and spirit, it reminds us that even the mightiest empires can be challenged by those who fight not just for land, but for legacy. I hope you guys enjoyed the great legacy of Muslims and Mongolians. If you want to see more, then like, share, and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.